Hello and welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you are new here. Today we are going to be going over my palette that I used for this month for my project palette 365, which means I'm using a different palette every day for the next year. And so that means I have 30 palettes for 30 days for the month of April. So I am going to be going over and ranking the palettes that I used this month. And we're going to be starting at 30, going all the way up to number 1. So I have all these palettes here. So if you are interested in hearing my opinions about these palettes, some are old, some are brand spanking new. Well, at least one of them is brand new that I used. Then hang tight because we are getting right into it. Okay, let's go ahead and start off with number 30, which is the ABH Norvina 3 palette. This is an oldie and not so much a goodie because it ended up at number 30 on my list. I do love me a good orange, and I do like orange and blues together, and orange and purples together, and orange and yellows together. Not so much orange and greens together though, but I made a look. I think it was a work look too, or I used some of the orange and browns in here together, and this palette is just... it's just okay. I have it as down as a medium. Like, I have low, medium, high, high, and very highest. And this just ranked as a medium. I think with the kinds of palettes we have today, I don't swatch during these videos because I want to try to keep them under 30 minutes, so I don't want to spend a lot of time talking about each palette, but I just think these shades are outdated for what we have today. And at number 29, I have the Melt Fatally Yours 2 palette. I just couldn't get this to blend right. I have made 2 looks with this, and the first look I thought turned out pretty good. I did it for a reel, but this second look, I just couldn't get it to look right. I don't think there's anything wrong with this palette. In fact, let me get this color saver. That's really cool. I love Bailey Sarian. This color saver back in here. I want to give this some more tries before I decide if I'm going to get rid of it or not. So I'm going to put it back down here to give it another try. And yeah, I think that it was a user error on my part. I just couldn't get it to look right. Okay, in at number 28, I have one of my Shop Miss A palettes. This is the Cherry Blossom Sakura Season palette. And these are really good palettes, really good for traveling and everything like that. It's just, the look was just okay. It was just okay. I have this at high. But there are other palettes that I liked. It just made a good look. I would take these traveling with me just to make good everyday looks. We're getting into palettes that I really liked now. So we've got that palette. And at number 27, I have the NYX. This says it's the ultimate shadow palette, but I remember getting this around a couple of years ago for Lunar New Year. So I think it was their Lunar New Year palette. Again, it's fine. It's a good palette, makes a good look. Nice shimmers, nice shades. It makes a very pretty neutral look with the pop of red in it. Very nice, very good. Nothing wrong with this palette. Love this palette. Still gonna keep this palette around. So yeah, great palette. Okay, then I have another palette that, this is the Natasha Denona Mini Star palette. Made a good look. I really didn't like this duochrome shade here. It didn't show up very well when I used it, but all the other shades were fabulous. I love her mini palettes. This made a really good look. It's just when I put this shadow on, it didn't show up very well. But I loved the other shades in this palette. Loved how they look. So this is the Natasha Denona Mini Star palette. And then another palette from Shop Miss A that I got. These are baked powders and shimmers, and they look very good on. This palette was only a couple of dollars and it looked really good. I have another one in here that ranked a lot higher, but this made a really pretty look, and these two baked shimmers looked stunning on the eyes. Looked really stunning on the eyes. I was really impressed with this look, but I can only make like one look with this palette. That's why it was ranked so much lower. Let me get some more palettes. Okay, coming in at number 24, we've got the REM Midnight Shadows Principessa palette, and I really love the way this one looks. I love these also for traveling. These are some of the better eyeshadow palettes that I've seen come from a beauty brand owned by a celebrity. These are really cute palettes, and I think this one is my favorite one out of all of them that I own, is the Principessa one. I love this red shimmer. I love that it has a dark black to deepen up the outside edges, and yeah, it just makes a really cute look. So I love this one. Okay, I used this one. This is the Nomad, sorry it's upside down, Nomad Monteverde Cloud Forest palette. And I used this one to make an Instagram look on a Saturday. And I put that look on Instagram. And I kind of went out of my wheelhouse, kind of like with this look. And I'll show you which palette I used later on, because it shows up later on in this countdown. But I made a look similar to this one, and everybody really liked it on Instagram. I was so nervous about the look, but it ended up looking great. This palette is a few years old, a few years old, and is still very pigmented, very colorful. It's just, I wish there was a more selection of shimmers. These are all green based shimmers, which I can see it is the rainforest palette. But yeah, I think I used this shimmer right here, and it was a really nice shimmer. But I do like a matte heavy palette, so that's why I like this one so much. So this is a very pretty palette. So we've got that, and then we have got the Melt 420 palette, which, if you know me and you've been on my channel for a while, you know I love the grungy greens and the grungy yellows. So we have this in here, and this is a very matte heavy palette. In fact, it only has one shimmer in it, so that made me very happy. That's why it made it as far up on the list that it did, but I do like other palettes more than it. But it is definitely my color story. I love this color story, and it's a good formula. So there we have it. This is the last of the highs. Now we're getting into very high territory. So next we have up the Jeffree Star Cotton Candy Queen, right? Cotton Candy Queen. Yes, I made this. I used this for another Instagram look. Saturdays is usually when I do my Instagram looks. I'm staying home from work today because I have some appointments to go to, so that's why I did an Instagram look today. I'm going to take it off before I go to my appointments, but I'm filming this very early in the morning. But this is very nice. I know people have a lot of opinions about him, but I think his formula is very good, and it made a very nice, beautiful look. This is one of my more favorite palettes from him, and I don't normally like pastel shades, but this one worked out very well. Let me get some more palettes. Dipping into the very high category, next I have the Natasha Denona Baby Palette, and this is the Baby Gold. This is makes a perfect little gold look for daytime or evening time. You've got 2 mattes and a shimmer. That's all you really need to make this a look, and it just makes the perfect little look. I don't know what else to say. It's just a really beautiful look. Next up, we have the next baked shadow look, and this one made a really awesome look. Again, it's not ranked higher because I can only make like one look with this, but the shimmers, oh my gosh, the shimmers are out of this world. Spectacular. And you've got kind of a mid-tone and a darker, or a lighter and a more mid-tone shade, I would say. And then you've got these 2 beautiful shimmers, and you can just make a really, really beautiful look with this. Absolutely stunning. And then in at number 18, we have got I used a lot of melt palettes this month. This is let's see if you can see it, the brunette palette. And this is what it looks like. It is kind of boring, but some days I really like a boring look. This one was really nice. This one has 3 shimmers in it, and you have the light shade, the mid-tone shade, and the dark shade. That is what I like from it. It's a little bit lower on the list because it is a little more limiting in what you can do with it. And then you can use that for your inner corner there. Just use that shade, and that shade, and then just pick I don't necessarily like this bronze shade in here. I don't think it really goes in here very well. But I would choose that shimmer or that shimmer right there. So it's a little limiting, but I rated it very high. And then a colorful palette that I really like from NYX. I really like NYX eyeshadows. As far as drugstore goes, I think NYX has some of the best eyeshadows. And this is the Beetlejuice color palette for the recently deceased. And this came out around the time the movie did. And this just makes a really cute, pretty look. It's got some fun. I think I did an Instagram look with this. Has some fun shades in here. And yeah, it just makes a really cool look. It's got cute packaging. It is just an all-around fun palette. Okay, I made another Instagram look with this Nomad Ireland Wild Atlantic Way palette, another heavy green palette. Really enjoyed this palette. I kind of wish there were more yellows and working more on wish I could have some more oranges in here, but this palette is, for what it is really good. And I made a really cool green look with it. And I love Nomad's palettes. And this has that soft velvet on the front, so I think it's very luxe feeling and very nice feeling, so I just really love this palette. And that is at number 16. So we are now in the middle of our journey. Let me get some more palette. Okay, in at number 15, I have another Natasha Denona mini palette, and this is the mini sunset palette. It took me a while to find this one, but I did, and I am so glad I did. I love this wine shimmer shade here. This one does only have 2 mattes, but I'm getting used to just using 2 mattes instead of 3 mattes. So, oh, that's not one of the mattes. 2 mattes instead of 3 mattes, and then 1 or 2 shimmers. So I am progressing. I am progressing to using less shadows, so to make a look, but like just using these 3 and using like this one in the inner corner, it makes a beautiful look. Beautiful look. So we have that. And so next we have the Charlotte Tilbury Beautifying Eye Trends. This was in the colorway Emerald Effect. Makes a beautiful workday look, beautiful daytime look. You can even spruce it up for the evening. I've got, like I said, sometimes I don't always need the light shades anymore, and if I do, I can use my Natasha Denona eye sculpting palette. And then you have a fun green shades here to spruce up the look. And yeah, people are complaining about the price tag and the cheap packaging. I think I'm not so bent out of shape about the packaging. I like kind of being able to see into the palette personally, but I think it's good. I think it's good quality. It's really good quality. So yeah, I've got that very high on my list. And then we have the ColourPop. Palette, the Lucky Penny. This is the Lucky Penny, a great bronze palette. I think I like this more than my Smokin' Hot palette, although I will always keep and use my Smokin' Hot palette. But this, if I want a bronze look, this is a palette I'm going to pull out, is the Lucky Penny palette. And it is just perfect for when you want a bronze kind of a look, and it just is perfect for that. I love the Lucky Penny palette. And then another melt palette. I just went on a melt spending spree one day when they were having a sale. This is the Melt Bride of Frankenstein and Frankenstein palette. And I think I did a Get Ready With Me with this one, where I made a really cool look. And this shade right here, I absolutely put in my inner corner for my inner corner highlight. And I'm sure I used all 3 of these shades, and then some of these shades. And I don't know if I touched these shades over here, but it is very beautiful palette, great melt quality. I know a lot of people have said that they've had problems with their melt palettes growing mold on them. I've never had that problem with a melt palette, but I don't know. I keep mine in cool, dry conditions, so I don't know. I don't know. Some people have said they had problems. So check your melt palettes if you have them. Okay, then we have at number 11. At number 11, we have the lenticular palettes that Glamlight is known for. This is the Team Jacob, the Twilight Breaking Dawn palette. I call it the Team Jacob palette. I don't know if that's what it's called, but it is the Breaking Dawn palette with Jacob on the front, where he is Jacob, and then he is the werewolf or the wolf, and this is what it looks like. And yes, I absolutely used that green shade there. This is great glam light formula. Beautiful glam light formula. You're not gonna go wrong. You got this. I also got the Team Edward palette, but I haven't not tried that yet. And I also used this green here. It was beautiful, absolutely beautiful color, blended beautifully. All these next 10 palettes after this are going to be my absolute favorites, but I wish this could have made it into the top 10, but we have, unfortunately, have 10 other palettes that I like. So now we are in the top 10, and this is one of my favorite glam light palettes, is the chocolate martini. I want to say the dirty martini, but I love the dirty martini one too. It's also one of my favorites, but I love the lighter browns in this one, the more warm browns in this one, and the more golden browns in this one. Love this look. Always, I've used this palette several times and always loved the looks that I've gotten from this one. So this will always stay in my collection. Love the chocolate martini. Let me go get the last 9 palette. Okay, coming in at number 9, I have the Natasha Denona Mini Gold palette. Now, I don't remember liking this one as much as I did when I used it, but it is very nice, and I am not big fan. I just said I like the golds in that Dirty Martini palette, but that's kind of an exception. But I'm not a huge fan of golds, but I do like a dirty green gold, and that's what we have in here. That's what we have in here, and we have this green here. We have kind of this, I don't know what you would call it, kind of a green shimmer here, a green shimmer here, and then we have 3 mattes here. This look is so grungy and dirty and ugly looking, ugly in the best way possible, that even though I can really only get one look from this, it is the ultimate look. And I love it so much that it had to be in my top 10. So that's why this one made it up as high as it did. Okay, what do I have on my lids? Well, it is the Cosmic Beauty, or you may know them as Cosmic Brushes. It is their Muse palette. Okay, it doesn't have the cover on it. It is their Muse palette. I used this today to make my Instagram look, and I think it is pretty awesome looking. Let me know in the comments what you think. Do you have this palette? If you don't, they are going to be making one more restock of this palette, and then it is going to be gone. So once they restock this palette, you need to get your hands on it, because this is the original palette that they made that went viral, and they are going to be getting rid of her, so you might want to get your hands on her. She is pretty awesome, and she is at number 8 on my list. And yeah, she has some of the best multi-chromes, duochromes, shimmers in her, and you can make some pretty awesome looks with her, and that's why she ranks so high. Okay, we have a Fantasy Cosmetica palette alert in the house, and it is the Monk. Now, I said I love orange and browns, and I meant it. And so I made a Get Ready With Me for Work using this palette, and the look turned out, all I can say is awesome. I'm a child of the 80s. I use awesome, the word awesome, a lot. Use the oranges, use the brown, use this multi-chrome right here, and had the look turn out fantastic. Just beautiful look, and that's why I put it so high. I love the Monk palette. And then I played around with some blues this month. Yes, I did. I bought on a splurge one time the Gucci Gorgeous Flora palette, and here she is right here in all her glory, and the mattes work out beautifully, and I use this blue peacock color right here on my lids, and it just turned out absolutely fabulously. It's just a great palette. I had a great month with palettes, y'all. Absolutely. The two big fails I had was the Norvina palette, and the Melt Fatally Yours 2 palette was the only times. And with the Norvina palette, I was at home and it didn't really matter. But with the Melt Fatally Yours 2 palette, I actually had to take that makeup off and redo my makeup with another palette. To be able to go to work. So we only had two big fails this month. The rest, everything worked out really nicely. And this palette is no exception. This palette is very beautiful, and it's beautiful inside and out, and works very nicely, and comes with its own little tote bag. Well, not tote bag, but its own little velvet purse that you can put it into and travel with. And yes, mine's already dirtied up, but it don't get scratched or anything like that. So we love that for her. And then another Melt palette that I played with was the Blueprint palette, and this was the other one where I used this blue on my eyes. There's only this one has all the shimmers in it, and it only has two mattes in it. This was the matte that I used. I pulled in my mini eye sculpt palette to help with this one, and I used that matte, and I used that shimmer, in my inner corner. And I know I say this about all of them, but I absolutely loved this look for a blue look, which I don't usually do blue looks, especially not for leaving the house in. So yeah, and it just turned out, I was just so happy with that look. Okay, coming in at number 4. Number 4 is the Inslee Rain Happy Go Lucky palette. Again, it is just a 6-pan palette, but you can make a couple of looks with this palette. But I've got to hand it to the shimmers and the multi-chromes in here. It is just some of the shimmiest, shiniest multi-chromes that you can put on your lids. Only one brand that I can say tops their multi-chromes that I have tried. I've heard other brands are better, but only from the brands that I personally have tried. And it just makes your eyes just pop. And of course their mattes are very good, very blendable, very beautiful. And at number 3, I got the Patricia McGrath, the Petalmorphosis palette. Now this one is beautiful. This one is absolutely radiating springtime vibes. If you want to make a springtime look, I would say get this palette in your hands. I don't think there are any beige shades in this palette, or there are in previous palette, but that doesn't make the shimmer shades any less sparkly and beautiful. I will say, like I say with all Pat McGrath palettes, don't go out and spend the $129 on this palette. Wait till it goes on sale. Maybe wait till next spring when it goes on sale and get this palette. But she usually has 30% off sales throughout the year. and wait for a better time to get this palette. Or I bet you Alter Ego is going to dupe this palette. I bet you 100% Alter Ego is going to dupe this palette, and you can get that palette, and it will be beautiful. It will be beautiful. So there is that. And then what is number 2? And this is the palette that I think beats Inslee Rain on their shimmers, and it is the Bella Beauté Bar Green Goddess. And this would have been number 1, but I just love number 1 so much more. This is the Green Goddess palette. I have a Get Ready With Me for Work where I'm using this palette. I've only used this side. I have not used the green side yet, but these shimmers, I used this shimmer and I used this shimmer right here. Sparkliest, most beautiful, most impactful. It does have some glitter in it, but your eyelids will be seen from space if you use the Bella Beauté Bar shimmers on your eyelids. And of course, their mattes are absolutely beautiful. And I did, if you watch that video, I did have a little problem blending this shade out, but it worked. I got it to work. Where the look turned out very beautiful. This is a very dark shade, by the way, very dark, very, very dark. So just keep that in mind. And I'm guessing this one is pretty dark too. So just keep that in mind. But this is my number 2 palette. So what is number 1 then, if I love this palette so much? Well, I finally got to revisit the Danessa Myricks Beauty Lightwork Volume 6 Freedom palette. And this palette looks like I've been using it a lot, but it's just because I've been swatching it so much to see what shades I want to use. And I used my mini Eye Sculpt palette to set down a base, and I think I used this in this shade here, or maybe this shade and this shade here this time too, and it was magnificent. These shades and these multi-chromes in here, if you don't want to buy indie and you just want to buy from Sephora, these are probably the best multi-chromes. The Danessa Myricks is probably the best multi-chromes you can buy from Sephora. Now, they're not the best you can buy from any brand, but they're the best you can buy from Sephora. And just to have this many in one palette is pretty awesome. And the price to have this many multi-chromes, duochromes, and shimmers in one palette is pretty fair. It's pretty fairly priced. But that is my number 1 palette. Plus, the shades come out. The shades are magnetized. These little 6 pans are magnetized. I have a little wallet that you can put these in. This thing comes out where you can put it on top of these. You know, if you wanted to just travel with 1 or 2 of they're magnetized where you can stack them on top of each other. It's really, that's why they call it the Freedom Palette, because you can travel with it however you want to. It's really, really nice. This, other than there, I kind of wish it just went like this, but we got it to where it snaps on like that and it doesn't come off. But this comes off. This thing comes off here, and you can put it on top of one of the 6 pan things, and it's just very versatile. I love this palette. Okay, those are the 30 palettes that I used in April. Let me know, have you tried any of these palettes? Did you like any of these palettes? Which palette did you use this month? What was your favorite palette? Which was your least favorite? I would love to know all the stuff in the comments below. Please give this video a thumbs up. I'm sorry I went over the 30-minute mark again, and yeah, thank you for watching. Please share this with anybody that you think they might enjoy it, And I will see you, sending you out all of the good vibes. I will see you in the next video. Thank you so much for watching. Okay, goodbye.